prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as...
Look at the shields on the mark. That's awesome.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take
Welcome once again, folks. This is Cat's Pajamas.
And this is Pain User.
And we are back for game number 3 of this Losers Bracket. Round number 1 set between Complexity's Drewbie spawning as our Green Terran here in the top left-hand corner of Crevasse. His opponent down here at the bottom right-hand corner is Millennium's Diestar. Diestar putting up a very good show in the last game. And, you know, we have seen fairly large maps so far. That was actually interesting because Diestar picked Crossfire last time, even in a TVT setting. I didn't even think about that being his pick. And now Drewbie picks Crevasse. Interesting choice.
Yeah, Drewbie apparently not so confident in those positional wars. I think Diestar certainly getting the better of that in the last game, really just showcasing how aware he was of the map and how aware he was of where Drewbie was. And Drewbie didn't do a very good job of really splitting his army into the necessary factions to deal with those drops. I mean, he sent his entire army, both drops, to deal with those, left the midfield open, didn't leave any tanks to stop an eventual push. Diestar just able to basically force Drewbie out of there and get into that sweet spot. And, you know, once he had that position, there was virtually nothing that Drewbie could do. So hopefully Drewbie is a little bit more diligent about his troop movement and hopefully sends the proper amount of units to deal with a drop instead of your entire army, because when you do send your entire army, it just leaves you vulnerable for so many different things. And Diestar opening with gas here. Probably going to get another Reaper like he's been doing.
I would imagine. And it's interesting, you know, Drewbie is bypassing that gas, so something similar to what we saw in Tal'Darim in the first game, where he did go after that gasless fast expands. Now, of course, on this map, it's very, very easy for you to take an expansion. If you take the one that's actually connected to your main, that's all one big base, essentially. It only has 6 mineral patches and 1 Vespian Geyser, but it's very, very easy to hold on to. And, Diestar just building a supply depot there next to his natural. But we don't see a tech lab yet, so he may be saving up that gas for a quick factory.
It looks like he is going to be getting a very, very early factory here. And, you know, I can't help but think that he's just going to go for the quickest possible Banshee or perhaps a Blue Flame Hellion drop here. It will really depend on whether or not he gets that second gas. We'll try and keep an eye on that for you guys. Right now, just working off 1 gas, so... And there we go. There's a second gas. So I think we're going to be seeing either a very quick Banshee or a Blue Flame Hellion drop, both of which are pretty effective on this map. Blue Flame Hellion's very, very good on this map, especially with the opener that Drewbie is using here. He's going with the 1-Rax gasless fast expand, obviously. So he's going to have mostly Marines to deal with any of this. Blue Flame Hellions will be great against that. Not so much for dealing with the Marines, but just the Marines aren't going to have stim. He's not going to have a Viking to clear the medevac out of there, and we do have a single Hellion coming out right now for Diestar, and he's also getting a reactor, so probably going to start double pumping Hellions and eventually switch that factory over to the reactor, but that means he's not going to be getting that Blue Flame upgrade, which I think is going to be essential to do any heavy damage here.
Interesting, and he is just going to double Marine production at the time. There we go, a tech lab going down on the factory, and he is saving up some gas. So this could be a pretty easy switch onto that starport once again. And we're seeing something that's pretty familiar to us. I mean, this is setting up pretty close to what we saw in Tal'Darim Altar, which is Drewbie on the 4 ranks. He's going to have a ridiculous number of Marines here very quick into the game while he establishes a nice economy.
I agree with that, but we did see Diestar drop a very early command center on Tal'Darim as well. He got those initial Reapers for scouting, and did he misland right there or something? I didn't catch the
I'm not sure. We'll find out why here in a second.
Yeah, maybe we will. He does, however, have a Banshee coming now, and still sticking to 1 base here. It looks like Diestar is going to be going with one of those very aggressive tank Banshee Marine almost all-in type builds. I don't want to say he's all-in just yet, but we're certainly getting there.
It's close. I
Yeah.
mean, this map, as Drewbie is showing, you've got to take bases. If you don't, you are behind if his attack fails.
I totally agree. Drewbie actually might have made a mistake here. He got such a late gas, but oh my goodness, he is pumping those Marines out once again with that 4-rack style, and it looks like he's going to try and do that pressure build that he's been pretty fond of. And we do have a Raven coming out for Diestar. I don't really see the Raven benefiting his push all that much. I mean, maybe a few auto turrets could help out potentially, but really in TVT, the Raven is super important in those possible Viking battles for the PvD.
Exactly.
And then also for detection, assuming your opponent has a good chance of going Banshees or something, that Raven can really come in handy and really come into play. We do have the first Banshee from Diestar headed into the main of Drewbie right now. Drewbie doesn't really have anything to deal with this. This Banshee could potentially do quite a bit of damage, but we do have Drewbie coming in at the front of Diestar right now, sacrificing pretty much all of his Marines right there, and I think that's actually a good thing for Diestar because Drewbie's out of position back at the main. He will be able to wreak havoc with this Banshee. 3 kills already. Gonna deny mining for quite a bit here, and there is no turret up, but keep in mind that's not that big of a deal. There is no cloak, but he's still going to kill a ton of SCVs here. He stops watching the Banshee. Drewbie also not watching his Marines, but still going to kill the Banshee.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a pretty big loss for Diestar. If he had gotten that away, the missile turrets were slow to come up. He could have found a sweet spot over here and started to do more damage and just been pesky. But as it stands, he isn't. And he looks like he's more concentrated on this big attack coming out of him. He's got a couple of SCVs following to repair as well. But Drewbie should have enough forces regathered by that time to be able to defend this. Because of the very long walk distance here, at least from main to main, not necessarily from the further out natural to natural, it's going to be difficult for Diestar to reinforce, whereas Drewbie is going to be able to amass a huge amount of Marines, and it looks like he may be prepared. I don't know. Diestar, though, if he gets a good siege, could bait those units in. Drewbie already starting to spread these units out, though.
Yep, and Diestar taking the slow route here is going to have to creep in one tank leapfrog at a time. It's going to take him so long to work his way up to the point where he's able to hit anything vital for Drewbie. We are approaching the 10-minute mark here. We still do not have a command center for Diestar. He's completely all in with this. Drewbie is just running away with the economic lead right now, so it's really just going to come down to this one push from Diestar. This one single push is going to be his only opportunity. I think if Drewbie pulls SCVs and deals with this properly, he will be able to take it out. One thing is, Drewbie started his stim very, very late. He is not going to have stim for quite a while here. It's only about 35%, 40% done right now. Diestar does have that aerial spotter with the Banshee, and his tanks are in a pretty good position here, and he is starting to get in a much more threatening position than when he started this push.
He's floating a lot of minerals right now. If there's any time to drop down to command center, you could do it now, but oh no, the Banshee gets sniped for free. Drewbie with a huge kill there, and he's swinging his units around. He's ready to flank this position. Here comes Diestar. He's going to make his way out. All the SCVs are pulled as well. Couple of auto turrets going down right now, but I don't think that's going to be enough as Drewbie is moving through and crushing that force. The last couple of tanks are going to go down. There go the rest of the Marines as well. Diestar is going to be forced back. Let's take a look at the supplies. 58 supply to 46, but more importantly, Drewbie still has the lead in workers, and he has the second base. Diestar, okay, he has started another command center, but that's going to be a long time in coming.
Yeah, it will indeed. Drewbie about to run away with this game. Keep in mind, he's going to be double producing SCVs and mules for the duration of this game. Diestar halfway done on that second command center right now, so he is certainly playing catch up. He also does not have the same infrastructure that Drewbie has. He was ahead in tech, and oh my goodness, I thought he was going to lose another Banshee right there. Diestar just being annoying with this Banshee. He will lose it eventually, or at least be warded off. He's going to lose that one as well. That's 3 Banshees down for Diestar. Virtually no damage done. The first Banshee was able to kill 6 SCVs, I believe, so she paid for herself quite well, but the rest not doing anything, not even acting as spotters, just getting taken out immediately. And it looks like we have phase 2 coming up here for Diestar, and this is really going to be his last chance, his last attempt at a push here, but he only has a single siege tank, a handful of unupgraded Marines, no combat shield, no stim. We do have Combat Shield and Stim done for Drewbie. Weapons 1 also done for Drewbie. And Armor 1 going to be done by the time Diestar even gets there. So Drewbie looking fantastic.
Keep the faith. You always have to hold out for Phase 3. Phase 3 is when the great things happen. And Drewbie, unfortunately, going to get a few of his Marines rocked there by those siege tanks. Diestar going to continue to do work on these destructible rocks. But Drewbie is taking his third at the same time. Diestar only just now sat down his orbital command supply. Let's see here. Wow, actually equalized for the two players. And Diestar is still significantly behind in economy, but he does have the better straight line engagement force. We take a look at the Army tab. Yeah, we see he has a considerably larger force, but he's going to need to position it really cleverly. He doesn't have any combat shields or any sort of any upgrades whatsoever on these Marines, and if Drewbie gets another good split like he did in the first engagement, he could handle this pretty easily. Diestar now in range to attack a couple of these units, though.
Yeah, Diestar with some great positioning right here, and he's actually put himself in a very forward position. This is going to be difficult for Drewbie to deal with. He might have to pull additional SCVs this time around. He does have enough energy on the Raven. Oh, and these two medevacs going to go in and get taken out for free. That sucks. Both those medevacs going to go down right there, and I think Drewbie is going to have to pull a ton of SCVs once again. We do have a Congo line coming from the natural here. He is going to send absolutely everything stimming and moving in.
Oh,
and
no!
I think he has more than enough to crush through this. Diestar losing everything. 2 PDDs going down.
Dropped down 2-point defense drones.
I don't know why he used those PDDs.
Misclick. There's the good game. Good luck. And Drewbie takes the set, moves into losers round 2 here to the IPL Season 2. Diestar with good positioning, but point defense drones.
What?
That was an accident. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
I mean, it couldn't have been, though, because he put the PDDs in the perfect position. Like, you wouldn't put auto turrets above and in the middle of your army.
But why would you put down PDDs?
I mean, I think there might have been 1 Marauder in there. Maybe 2 at the beginning, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not going to be worth... you're not getting any bang for your buck as far as energy is concerned. Those auto turrets might have been actually to help, or might have actually been able to help quite a bit there.
Yeah.
Just absorbing a lot of that Marine fire. I mean, they are very hardy, stout unit.
Yeah, and I could admit, though, the Marines for Drewbie were pretty effective. I mean, think about this. He had Stim, Combat Shield, 1-1, all going, and there was a pretty good number of Marines that were out for Diestar, but no upgrades whatsoever, and they weren't able to withstand the amount of pressure that Drewbie was bringing.
Yeah, I was not feeling that build from Diestar whatsoever, especially on this map. Especially with those spawns. I mean, there were just so many things that screamed, do not use a build like that to me. And it didn't work out at all. So hopefully, well.
There we go. Well, we'll see if Drewbie can continue
I was
it.
going to say, hopefully, Diestar learned his lesson there, but I mean, doesn't matter. He is out of the tournament now, so.
Yeah, and Drewbie had his work cut out for him in Winners Bracket 1 against Idra, the reigning IPL champion, and came up against a tough European player in the Losers Bracket round 1. So he has had his work cut out for him. He's done very, very well. We'll see if he can continue his path through the Losers Bracket. If you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, though, please check us out, IGN.com/IPL. You can find us as at IGN Pro League on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and at Justin TV. And if you've enjoyed Payne User and Nice Casting, please do check us out. You can find me at Twitter.com/CatsPajamassSC2.
And you can find me at Twitter.com/PayneUser. Thanks a lot, guys, and stay tuned for more games from IPL Season 2.